The saint who shook the world, St. Francis Xavier's miracles and missions. The saint who set the world ablaze. Few men in history have burned with such an unquenchable fire for souls as St. Francis Xavier. A man who crossed continents, braved storms, and faced persecution, all to bring the light of Christ to those who had never heard his name. But who was he? What drove him to leave behind a life of comfort and immerse himself in the unknown? This is the story of one of the greatest missionaries the world has ever seen, a man whose miracles, sacrifices, and passion continue to inspire millions. Born in 1506 in the Kingdom of Navarre, now Spain, Francis Xavier was destined for a life of nobility and prestige. He was intelligent, charismatic, and ambitious. At the age of 19, he left his homeland to study at the prestigious University of Paris, where he dreamed of fame and success. But God had a different plan. It was at the university that he met Saint Ignatius of Loyola, a fiery ex-soldier with a vision to transform the world through the Society of Jesus, later known as the Jesuits. Ignatius famously asked Xavier, "What will it profit a man to gain the whole world, yet lose his soul?" These words pierced Xavier's heart, and soon, he abandoned his ambitions for wealth and power to follow Christ completely. In 1540, King John III of Portugal requested missionaries to travel to India and beyond. Xavier was chosen. Armed with nothing but his unwavering faith, he embarked on a perilous journey across the seas, facing sickness, hunger, and the constant threat of shipwreck. Arriving in Goa, India, he wasted no time. He preached in the streets, cared for the sick, and fearlessly entered villages to teach the gospel. He didn't just convert people, he transformed communities, baptizing thousands in a single month. He traveled to Malacca, the Spice Islands, now Indonesia, Japan, and even attempted to reach China, a feat few dared to attempt. Francis Xavier was not just a preacher, he was a miracle worker. Here are some of the most awe-inspiring miracles attributed to him, raising the dead. On multiple occasions, Xavier was said to have brought dead individuals back to life, stunning witnesses and strengthening the faith of converts. The miracle of the crab. Once Xavier lost his precious crucifix in the sea during a storm. Miraculously, the next day, a crab emerged from the ocean holding the crucifix in its claws and returned it to him on the shore, speaking in tongues. Though he did not initially speak the languages of India or Japan, Xavier miraculously communicated with locals, who understood his words as if he were one of them, healing the sick, healed countless people afflicted with diseases simply by making the sign of the cross over them, controlling the sea. During a violent storm, he calmed the raging waters by making the sign of the cross, saving a ship full of terrified passengers. Sleeping on the streets. Despite being offered luxurious accommodations, Xavier often chose to sleep on the ground among the poor, living as they did, baptizing thousands in a day. In some regions, he baptized so many people that his arm became too sore to lift, yet he refused to stop. Facing persecution in Japan. When he arrived in Japan, Christianity was unknown and unwelcome, yet through his humility and wisdom, he gained the respect of Japanese leaders and planted the first seeds of Catholicism there. Desperate to reach China, Xavier knew that China was key to evangelizing the East. But before he could enter, he fell gravely ill on an isolated island near China's coast. Alone and abandoned, he died in 1552 at the young age of 46. St. Francis Xavier's work did not die with him. His legacy exploded across Asia, with Catholic communities in India, Japan, and China still standing as a testament to his efforts. His body, miraculously preserved, rests in Goa, India, where millions visit to this day. In 1622, he was canonized as a saint alongside his dear friend, Saint Ignatius of Loyola. Today, he is venerated as the patron saint of missions, and his feast day, December 3rd, is celebrated worldwide. St. Francis Xavier was not just a man of words, he was a man of unstoppable action. He left behind everything to bring Christ to the world. The question is, are we willing to do the same in our own way? His story is a challenge to all of us. Do we live out our faith boldly, or do we hesitate? Do we share Christ's love with others, or do we keep it to ourselves? The mission of St. Francis Xavier is not over. It continues through us. May we, like him, burn with a fire that will never be extinguished. Go forth and set the world on fire. St. Ignatius of Loyola to St. Francis Xavier.